Hey, so we've discussed arrays of pointers before. Now we want to discuss arrays of function pointers. This is just a bonus video. It's not something that you'll use all that often, but this is to get you thinking about the possibilities. You can see right here I have this array of function pointers. Okay, this is an array. See, we have the subscript operator, and this is called func ptr arr for array, so function pointer array, and this is a pointer to a function, okay, based on this syntax. The type of function pointers in the array are pointers to functions that return int and that take in two arguments of type int. So in other words, the formal parameters for those functions need to be of type int. For this demonstration, I have these two function definitions again, add and multiply. Okay, they are going to take in integers, and of course add is going to return the addition of the parameters, and the multiply function is going to return the multiplication of the parameters. So what I do now is I add those two functions in the array. You can see I use the list initialization and I pass in add and multiply, those function identifiers I pass in here. And then I can actually go and use that. So I have these three integers, x, y, and choice. I enter two numbers, x and y. Then as a simple example, I can do something like this, enter 0 to add, 1 to multiply. So I enter the choice. Now we're not going to do any checks in this example. Of course, you want to do checks based on what you want to do, and you may want to add maybe some integer, some constant size, and then you can use that to do checks. But for this example, we'll assume that the user is going to enter the correct value. That is either 0 for add or 1 for multiply. And then those functions are going to return add and multiply are going to return int. So I use a console output statement, and then I go and invoke the function in the array based on the choice that the user entered. Okay, so we pass in that index 0, for example. If you pass in 0, that is going to return the first element. What is the first element? Well, that is add. Okay. It is going to invoke the add function, and we pass in x and y right here. It will do add and we'll pass in those two arguments. Build and run this to see what we get. I will enter two values, 5 and 2, for example. Press enter. Now let's say I want to add, so I'll enter 0 and I'll press enter. Then we get 7 and end of program. Build and run again. 5 and 2 again. This time I want to multiply, so I'll enter 1. Press enter and we get 10. And of course, this is a really simple example. You can start to think about the possibilities that you can have with this. The goal is to write more abstract, more generalized code. Let's say, for example, we add another function up here, subtraction or division. Then we can go and add those in the array right here. Then we don't have to change this function. Of course, you have to change your input and your checks for that and this printout right here. But there are ways that you can sort of automate that as well, maybe in a for loop or something like that. Maybe write a function to do that. But again, this is a simple example. It's kind of fun to think about the possibilities with this, which is why I cover it here. The syntax is a bit weird, but just to read it from right to left again, this is an array called function pointer array, and it is a pointer to a function based on the syntax that we have. And then of course, this is how we go and fetch those particular elements here. We pass in the index, in this case choice. Alright, so I hope you found this lecture interesting. I'll see you next time.